Hey y'all, welcome to Paige's Perspective, where I help you find your inner strength to cope with life. I try to cut to the chase and not have too much fluff in these episodes. This week, I want to address anxiety and the feelings of being overwhelmed. I've been feeling a lot of wheelie struggling in this emotion. Y'all, I see you. I hear you. I feel you. When we first started TUFO, I wanted to help people who struggled with debilitating anxiety or just the feelings of being overwhelmed. I didn't realize that it was going to shift into helping those who have been impacted by a partner who has or is still struggling with substance abuse. My anxiety and feelings of being overwhelmed were so strong after my husband got sober, I could not function. I could not be completely present for my children, my husband, or even myself. And y'all, I had a great life at the time from the outside. I had a sober husband. I was able to stay at home with my kids. We bought our first home. We had a comfortable life. We actually had money in the bank, unlike what it was like in active addiction. Things seemed great. And you would think, oh, why can't you be grateful? Yeah, there was way more going on underneath, inside, than what you see on the outside. So, something happened in 2017 that made me spiral out of control. It wasn't the actual thing that happened, but it was the fact that I realized I couldn't handle life. I couldn't handle everyday things. I felt weak. I wasn't resilient. I couldn't handle stressful situations. So I hit my rock bottom of feeling super overwhelmed and anxious. The panic attacks, fear that something was wrong with me physically, all the uncomfortable things. I had to do something to help me get through it. I had to learn how to manage and cope and figure out how to be there for myself. In this episode, I'm going to break down some tools I use to help me get through the overwhelming feelings and fears. I still utilize these tools because they are so effective. So what's the difference in anxiety and just feeling overwhelmed? Well, anxiety is a feeling of unease or worrying about the future. For example, worrying about running into a snake while hiking, even if there is no immediate threat, or, maybe you have anxiety because you fear that your partner is going to relapse. These are all possibilities. Worrying won't change the outcome, though. Being prepared is what helps us with the anxiety. Scared of running into a snake? Be prepared. Don't panic. Stay calm and move away from it. It's that simple. You get bit? Okay, call an ambulance. Don't put so many scenarios in your head of what ifs because it will not change the outcome. We don't have that kind of power. Enjoy the moments hiking and challenge your thoughts. Our thoughts are not reality. They are only thoughts, and we have to challenge them. So staying present is what's going to keep the worrying down. But let's say you're anxious about a relapse. This is a legitimate concern because it affects you. However, worrying about it will not change the outcome. Nothing you can do can stop it from happening. The best way to not worry about it is, again, be prepared. What will your steps be if there is a relapse? That's what's going to get you through it. Once you realize it's out of your control, it's easier to see what is in your control. You get to make the decisions on what you want to do if your partner relapses. In a perfect world, they would never relapse and everyone would live happily ever after, but this isn't a perfect world. However, you can thrive in it with the proper tools. When you feel anxious about the future, I encourage you to challenge your thoughts and put aside the worry. We can be scared. We can have some anxiety over things. It's a normal emotion. But if it's impacting your mental health negatively, it's time to shift some thought patterns. So I want to shift into the feelings of being overwhelmed because this is one I believe many people struggle with these days. Feeling overwhelmed can make us feel freaking crazy. This world is so fast-paced. It's hard to keep up. I also believe that we are taking in too much information from the news, social media, even texting. We haven't fully evolved to handle that stuff yet. We aren't meant to be connected to the world all the time. It's a lot to take in. And some of us have too many tasks as it is. We have too many roles, especially if you don't have an equal partner. You're for sure going to feel overwhelmed. You have to be a parent, a partner, an employee, and sometimes a caregiver. And it's too much for one person. Some of us may have some time management issues. I'm raising my hand here. This is where I struggle the most these days. And I'm in the process of building more structure for myself to get that overwhelmed feeling under control. Because I know if I keep going down the path of the overwhelmed feelings, it's going to take me down a dark road that I don't want to go down. I know that about myself, but I know how to get out of it. That's where the strength comes in. Another thing is that being a perfectionist can make us feel overwhelmed because we have such high standards for ourselves. That's a lot of pressure. All right, so what happens when we feel overwhelmed? We may become irritable and angry. This is my first sign. This is when I know that I'm overwhelmed. It's when I have to put myself in check and do the things that help me manage. When I feel short-tempered, like with a kid, this is my cue. Hey, Paige, it's time to get your shit together and reevaluate your everyday routine because you're not being good to anybody else. And I know that you're not being good to yourself because you're irritable and angry. We all have these moments. We may cry randomly. I went through a time in my life where I was just randomly crying. It was the weirdest thing ever. I knew that I was overwhelmed and that things were going on and my life was just crazy. But I would just be sitting in my car and I would start crying. And I was like, there's nothing that triggered it. I was overwhelmed. Mood swings from anger to anxiety to sadness. A lot of us will have those. Maybe we're super tired, even when you've had enough sleep. Changing in your sleep patterns. For me, whenever I start waking up all throughout the night, not just having to pee, just like randomly waking up, it's because I'm overwhelmed. Headaches, stomach aches, trouble focusing, forgetfulness, difficulty making decisions, procrastination, turning to distractions like social media, watching TV, and even substances. Negative self-talk, talking trash to yourself, thinking that feeling like you're inadequate and ignoring your self-care. All of these, when I'm overwhelmed, I feel all of these. I'm real. This is what I'm telling you. And I'm sure a lot of you feel this way because I've been there and it still pops up because I'm human. So how do I cope and how do I manage? And I have a lot of info in the Independently Strong course, but I'm going to share some tips with y'all that work for me. This is helpful for feeling overwhelmed and even some anxiety. So number one, social media breaks. Take a social media break if you feel like you are constantly grabbing your phone and having to look at it. Maybe you feel like you're addicted to your phone or, there's a lot of drama on there. I know there's a lot of political crap out there right now. There's too much going on, but you might feel like, oh, if I take away my social media break, I'm going to have FOMO. I'm going to miss out. Y'all, that's okay. Your mental health is way more important than whatever is going on social media. We haven't always had social media. Think about whenever you were a kid and there was no social media and you just had to live life. Like, go back to the basics. Another one is going to be take a break from the news. Sometimes there's too much information on the news. Sometimes it's like super negative and it's too consuming and it's just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to watch this. Matt and I watch the news maybe once a month, if that. We are very rarely news people because we like to stay in the present moment. Another tip, a couple of years ago, I took off my Apple Watch, my smartwatch, because I didn't like having that extra, accountability or something. I don't know what it was. It was like the notifications, which I know that you can turn off the notifications, but I just didn't like the watch. It was too much information going into my brain that I couldn't handle at the time. Best decision I ever made when it came to removing things from my life. I don't have notifications on my phone. I don't get text notifications. I don't get messenger notifications. I don't get Facebook notifications, email. Like, I just kind of let my phone go and then I'll check things when I need to. Now, if you are a little OCD and you like to make sure all your notifications are there, I understand. But this works for me because I would get too overwhelmed with too many notifications. Those are kind of my boundaries that I have for myself. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Set boundaries for yourself and understand that you can't be there for everyone. If there's some people asking for you constantly, you can set those boundaries and say, hey, I'm sorry, I just can't deal with that right now. I'll get back to you whenever I'm in a better place. It's not rude. It's kind. How they take it is on them. A next tip will be ask for help. I know if we have a partner, they should know better, but that didn't work in my marriage. I'm talking about things around the house and with your children or whatnot. I had to put aside my pride and ask for help. It was one of the best things I ever did within our marriage because I was building resentment when I'd have expectations. Yes, I know grown-ass adults should, I'm putting that in quotes, know better. They should, putting that in quotes, be an equal partner, and they should be doing these things. But he effing didn't. So I had to ask for help. I was okay with that. Once I started doing it, it worked out fine. Now we're equal. I don't have to ask for help as much unless I'm like, hey, can you help me do this? Or he'll ask me for help. Big whoopie-doo. We ask for help sometimes, but I had to train him, damn it. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, really, he just didn't understand because he's a simple creature who doesn't think like I do. So if you have a partner who will not help when you ask because they just aren't nice or they're not present, or, they're just kind of a jerk, then there's a deeper issue within the relationship that will need to be addressed. It'll keep you overwhelmed. The next one is going to be grounding and present moment awareness. I believe I've talked about this a few times because it's my favorite go-to for everything whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed. And it takes practice and it's hard, but hear me out because it effing works. When you find your mind spiraling, take a moment, pause, look at your feet, look at your surroundings, take in the sounds, focus on the world around you. When you're brushing your teeth, take the time to only think about brushing your teeth or your surroundings, not your to-do list, not what you said wrong yesterday, not what scenario you may be putting in your mind. Think of just what's in that moment. You're going to feel your forehead relax and you're going to feel this feeling of contentment. It may last just a few seconds, but wow, that's when you feel the most peace. And the more you practice it every day, the more it's going to help you. I can't stress this next one enough. Start a morning routine for self-care. Whatever works for you. For me, journal, read, meditate, work out. For you, something. Stay consistent and force yourself to do it even if you don't want to. Breathe. Really, breathe. Do some breathing exercises. It works. It gets you present. It relaxes your body. It's just a beautiful thing that is just so underutilized. Talk to someone. Let it out. Process it. Vent. Get validation and figure out a solution that will work for you. We don't have to stay stuck in the overwhelmed feelings. We have the power to get out of it. It's not anyone else's responsibility to pull us out. We have to do it ourselves. Sometimes we're going to stay stuck and nothing changes if nothing changes. That means do the thing. Get out of bed, do the dishes or ask someone to do the dishes. Find structure, know what you have to do to make sure you aren't too overwhelmed. And don't beat yourself up for being overwhelmed. It's happening to all of us. We all get overwhelmed and that's okay. But if you want to thrive, know where your control is. Pull yourself out of it. Be your own damn cheerleader. And remember, worrying will not change an outcome. Being prepared for any outcome is key and take away any distractions. Tufo community on Facebook. Hop in there, share your self-care routine, go in there and brag about your growth. Tell others what you do to help you become the best version of yourself. This group is different than anything else out there, and you will find strength and peace and connection. Get after it. You can find it on any of our links on social media under Tufo Couple. That's all I have for the week. Until next time, I'm Paige. Bye.